All right, I'm gonna do this bowl that I showed you earlier. And this is the one, if you look at my short where I threw this 13-inch bowl, I think it was like 4 pounds of clay. And I just didn't like it just being a perfectly round bowl. I get tired of doing the same stuff all the time. And so I actually used a little print, and you'll see, like I said, I've added to this video, and it's got some detail in it. And I'm just gonna wing this. I'm starting out in the middle with Honey Flux PC17. And I just pour this stuff in here. All right. We're going to smear that around with a brush. I'm going to pull some up towards the top. I'm hoping you can see that. I'm going to pull this camera up where you can actually see what I'm doing. There you go. We may move this thing around. This is a really informal channel. So y'all, this is going to be a really neat little bowl. And I'm just telling you, I'm kind of winging this. I have put a lot of thought into what I'm doing with this. And then I came out here and I'm doing it just on a whim. So I really have not planned this. But I'm going to do a lot of flux glazes, and I think I've decided on really just trying to keep it pretty simple, but I want to do some greens in this. Through the rumor mill, my wife, I'm told greens are hot right now this time of year. And whether I believe her or not is still to be seen, but I have a couple of different glazes I'm doing here, but I'm going to throw in some Emerald Falls. I'm going to throw in some HoneyDew. You see, I'm just putting this on here. I need to get a bigger brush probably, because I'm trying to make this video short so I don't just waste your time. But you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just slapping this stuff on here. I'm not going to be by the book, one coat dry, one coat dry. I just don't do that. And I come out okay. You want to follow the rules exactly like they're made, you just go ahead and do that. That's cool too. Everybody has their own way of doing things. It's 88 freaking degrees here in March in Arkansas. And I'm not happy about it, if you're wondering. But most people don't ask my opinion, and that's okay too. I'll give it to you just for free. It's too hot for March. Got a little split rim on this thing. And I'm just kind of filling that in. It's going to break so nicely. I did not divide that when I threw it. It just kind of came out that way, and then I ended up texturing it a little bit. And this is what I'm going to do. This is just Honey Flux all the way around. I don't want to overdo it because I do not want to lose this texture. I've got a doily, like I showed you before. It's up here on the shelf, but I put a doily in the middle and just pressed it in, so I got a little bit. It's not even. It's just not. It's kind of off to one side, but it has the center is kind of centered in it. I don't like things being perfect, even though I do things like this, which are very symmetrical and straight, and I would consider that formal. But sometimes I really love just going outside the rules and breaking the bank with some texture and shape, and not making it oval or round, or, you know. So there we go. That is 2 quick coats. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm not going to film this, but I want you guys to know I'm going to do basically the same thing on the outside. I'm going to put Honey Flux on the outside. I'll do it after the video. I'll put Honey Flux on the outside, and whatever I do on this inside rim, I'm going to replicate on the outside rim. So you can see this. I'm not worried about how many coats, because this is not a formula that I'm going to go try to recreate. So oftentimes I come to the studio and I have no idea what I'm gonna make, but I know I'm gonna get on the wheel, I'm gonna throw some clay on it, and I'm just gonna wing it. And I think sometimes that's just the most fun and the most enjoyable, is to just let be what comes out. So there we go. We've got Honey Flux there. And that took us 5 minutes or so to throw on. I'm going to dry it, so bear with me. All right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to rinse this real quick, and I'm going to put some greens and turquoise on here that are going to run down on this. And I am going to start with Emerald Falls, PC 47. We're going to grab us a big brush here. We're going to go around the top. And you can see I'm just wiping this stuff on willy-nilly. I'm just going to get some of this in here, put around the rim. What's going to happen is with all these flux glazes, Emerald Falls is kind of fluid too. It has some movement to it. And it's going to all sink down towards the center. And I believe we're going to get a nice green bowl. But I don't want this to be dark. I do a lot of dark stuff and I've kind of started getting away from it. This is a real pretty bowl. I want this texture to show through. I'm gonna get that little rim you can see right there. All right, see that? That's pretty nice. We're gonna put another one on here. Just gonna really try to get a coat on it. Another coat. What we're gonna do is move on to some lighter colors on top of this Emerald Falls. I'm gonna put HoneyDew on it, which is another flux glaze. And that is PCF for Flux 18. That's gonna be their next one. It's fun doing these because you never know exactly with the movement what it's gonna do. So there's that one. Grab me a sponge here. And we're gonna let that dry up just a little bit. But you get so much movement. I have had glaze that I put on the rim after using Honey Flux that somehow seem to go under the Honey Flux and end up in the center on a swirl and turn out just so cool. And I didn't see that happening. All right, we're gonna dry this up a little bit. Hang with me. All right, the next layer is gonna be HoneyDew. And that is PCF 18. I love HoneyDew by itself. It just has such a old classic look to me. I'm such a fan of it. I could just about glaze everything in HoneyDew, but I'm told I go overboard with it. I don't really care. I'm an old man, I do what I want. How's that? All right, and we're putting this on top of the Emerald Falls. And it's gonna be so fun to see how much this sinks and the movement we get. We're gonna get some cool stuff here, I will promise you we are. And I'm doing it a little bit heavy in some spots. I'm gonna move over here so you can kind of see. I'm daubing that on and I'm really taking some chunky parts. I'm really trying to get some heavy areas here and just splotching it on. That's the great thing about these glazes, because of the way they melt together and blend. There's really nothing specific about it you gotta do. You just keep putting it on there. And then you open it up and it's like Christmas morning, you know, when you open that kiln and it's like, holy cow, what happened there? That's so neat. I know I'm rambling a little bit. I'm in a hurry. I have a 21-year-old granddaughter. Y'all gonna think I'm crazy. One of my new granddaughters that has been adopted into the family through marriage is turning 21 today. And you wanna hear something crazy? I have another 21-year-old granddaughter who pretty much grew up in our home. It's gonna make me a great grandpa in April. Within 4 weeks, I'm gonna be a great grandpa, which blows me away. I'm only 63. Come on, girl. A little too early for that, but we're over the moon excited about this little boy that's coming. And it's just going to be a really, really special time in our lives to welcome him. And I'll probably spend the next year in the studio while I love children. Babies, they're a little tough to deal with sometimes. We'll let Mimi handle that part. This studio will be my solitude. All right, now if you can see that, you can see I got a little splatter in there, that's okay. Put this on pretty heavy. I'm gonna dry it, and I'm gonna put on some textured turquoise, and then I'm gonna cover that. Move that up. Seaweed will be the last thing I put on here, and I will keep it towards the rim because I don't want to cover the whole thing. I just want that movement. You know, you're always looking for movement with these glazes. So, all right. Let me get this dried up and I'll put another coat on. All right, we're moving on to textured turquoise here. I hope you guys are familiar with these. PC25 textured turquoise. It tends to be a mover also. And we're getting some heavy layers up here, so this one's not gonna be thick, but I just know blending them in really makes some different colors, gives you some different movement. It's just so fun to use these glazes. All right, here we go. I'm gonna try to keep these up towards the top a little bit. See how I'm doing that? I don't want it to be exactly even. Just splotching her on there. That little chunk there, that thing will melt and run. We're gonna do that. I think you can get too many glazes on a pot and then you end up with pitting. But when you've got a bowl like this, especially on glazes that move, like your flux glazes, you know, there's a lot of glazes that you know are gonna move, your oatmeals, your fluxes, your textured turquoise, emerald falls, seaweed. Those glazes just move. And so if you can come up here and keep it on the top part where it has an angle that's gonna let it run down, then that's just, that's gonna work out to your advantage and it's gonna come down. As you can see, I've got texture in here at the top and it's gonna run past that. This is gonna break. And I think we're gonna get some different color just from the break. Move some of this like that. I'm just kind of splotching that around. You can see how that is. You don't have to be perfect with it. We're just kind of getting her done. There it is. All right, there's our textured turquoise. I'm gonna try to get some maybe around the rim here. I will do a lot of this on the outside. Like I said, I'm gonna try to copy this a lot on the outside. I'm not gonna do it exactly, or I'm not gonna film it. There's no reason for you to sit and watch me do the outside, but it will be very similar to this. 2 or 3 coats of Honey Flux, and then up at the top, I'm gonna put on these different glazes that let it just run and give us that color. So, there we go. All right. Let me dry that up, and then we'll put our last glaze on, which is going to be Seaweed PC42. All right, last one, PC42. We're going to put this up at the top of the rim. It tends to be very fluid. It's a very thin glaze, as you can hear there. And on top of all these different greens, this stuff is just going to go whoo, and it's going to fill in down here where we've got all that beautiful texture from that doily. These doilies I picked up at a flea market. I don't know, you could probably get them on eBay or wherever you want. There's a lot of places to get stuff like this. I was at a flea market and there just happened to be a bowl full of them for like $2 or whatever, you know. And I'm always looking for places to get some kind of texture device, whether it's a doily, whether it's, you know, a form. I've got a piece up here that I bought at Helping Hands years ago, and it's a little silver tray, and I wanted to use it for hand building. I've never used it, but I have it full of doilies now. It's full of doilies and all kinds of stuff up there to hold my my tools. It's got cookie cutters, it's got sponges, it's just all kinds of stuff. So, all right, here we go. Seaweed, PC42 at the very edge of the rim. I know some of you like the longer videos where you can actually see exactly what I do. And I try to hurry these just because I think some people don't. I'm not a person that watches a long video, and so I'm always under the impression that people don't watch a long video, but I've had many of you tell me that, you know, I really like seeing the process. So you're gonna see how I'm doing this right here. And again, I'm gonna brag on my Shimpo Banding Wheel. This thing is fantastic. If I can remember, I'll put a link in the bottom here where you can order one of these. They have a lot of weight to them once you spin it. And I don't have this centered right now, but if you center that and let that thing go, it will sit there and spin forever. And it's so nice for glazing, so nice for so many things. All right, we've got a nice rim on that. I'm gonna dry this up. I'm probably gonna put 2 or 3 coats of seaweed on this rim because that seaweed with the flux really causes movement. So I'll be back with the finished product. All right, this is the finished product. And you've seen all the glazes I've put on here. We've got Honey Flux, we have HoneyDew, we have Emerald Falls, we have textured turquoise, and we have seaweed around the rim on top of the Honey Flux. And we're gonna let this dry up, and then I will go ahead, I put some of that seaweed just on a base coat there. I'll coat this whole thing in Honey Flux, and then I'll put some of those other greens in here to get this same run on the outside as I get on the inside. And we're gonna put it in the kiln, and we're gonna see what comes out, because we have no idea what's coming. I love that part of it, and I hope you do too, of everything's an adventure. I know a lot of you like to do test tiles, you like to know what's coming out, you know exactly what's being created. I don't. Here's my test tile. Cheers. All right, I'm ready to open this kiln. I was not able to get everything in this particular kiln that I had hoped to, and I still have some more things to glaze. But several of the pieces, the bowl that I showed you how I glazed it is in the very bottom, and we'll get to that here in a minute. So here we go. Have a bunch of mugs. Let's see what we've got. Oh, well, that's interesting. Tourmaline in one of my Bella Vista mugs. Just left a bare bottom on that one. Replaying. This is Coyote Buttercup with an eggshell, or I believe that's snow, Amaco snow on the inside. These are nothing fancy. These are the things people want, not the things I want to create. I'm sure you all can relate to that. This is Blue Rutile, And all I did was at the rim up here, you can see I put seaweed. And that just gives it just a little bit of a nice little frost. You get a little bit of green, but it also gives you this, you see on the inside how it's real, you get almost a little snow line right there. Pretty mug. This is Emerald Falls. Just by itself, I had a lot of ribbing in here, and probably could have got a little bit more on it, but it came out. It's got a really nice shine to it. It's got a great break. I love the green. Some of these I just do in a single color because they're quick and easy. That's a nice little mug. Hiwassee, Arkansas. This is the little succulent pot that I did. And this is the green Shino from Coyote. And I just threw some texture in here, but I like the way it breaks. I used this before on some little plant pots. I've used it on matcha tea, like some tea bowls, stuff like that. It's a neat little color. Has a really nice break to it, real stable. You can see here at the bottom, Coyote Green Shino. And we have some hand-painted mugs that my lovely wife did. Oh, these turned out nice. Look at that. This is, I want to try to share a link in the video. If you look at the comments or down in the description, I want to try to share a link. What she did was she bought a set of underglaze paints, underglazed glazes from Amazon. And it is a Mayco. It's a Mayco Fundamentals set. Just when she first got into this, and she's been using these for quite some time now. They're gonna last a long time. I know you can go by individuals, but if you're just looking to start doing something with underglazes, this has been a really great set. It was pretty inexpensive. I don't know the price exactly, but I'm thinking it was maybe 50, 60 bucks for a whole box of them. So, really cool. I just love it. Oh man, look at that one. And I'll welcome comments. I've been telling her she might want to do a video and maybe share a little bit about what she's doing here, how she's getting her base coat down, doing her painting, and then how she's putting her clear coat covers on. If anyone's interested in her doing a video, just let me know and I'll see if I can twist her arm to do one. So fun. All right. Oh, can double like these. Couple of mugs here. This is Honey Flux with cosmic tea dust around the rim. And that run is just awesome, is it not? Just look at that. I have a bike shop up here. I'll give a plug to them. It's called Bison Bikes on Highway 279, Forest Hills Boulevard in Bella Vista, if you know this area. But he sells some of my mugs, and these are going to go into his shop. He's requested these because people like these. But that's a really great combo. Look at that run. Isn't that nice? Don't get too close to the bottom because this was a very small rim at the top, and you can see how far that ran down. Great combo for a lot of different things. Oh my goodness. I love this mug. Look at that. Look at that. I threw this little mug. This is probably one of those where I'm in the middle of throwing a mug and it doesn't go well, and so I ended up tearing off the top of it and just making a little cup out of it or something. And I gave this to my wife, and I had no idea what she was going to do with it, but when I saw it finished, sitting on the shelf drying and getting ready to go in the kiln, I fell in love with it then. I still love it today. I think I'm gonna buy it for myself. I'll give her some cash and keep it. That is the coolest thing, is it not? That's beautiful. Really happy with that. Whew. Look at the break on that. That's just straight Honey Flux. I love Honey Flux on items like this with texture. The way that I just did a little pinch around the edges. I took a little trim tool and just carved that out. That's just Honey Flux for the win for me. I love that. That's just really neat. Gorgeous little bowl. My fingers are crossed on this one. Oh my gosh, I'm serious. Never expected this. Look at that. Look at how that turned out with all those greens and the texture. We did Emerald Falls. What all did we put in there? Textured turquoise. If you look at the first part of this video, you'll see where I actually show you exactly how I did this. But what a beautiful bowl. Isn't that cool? Do you like that?
Yeah.
There it is. Y'all, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, go make something fun. Enjoy making some pottery. I appreciate each and every one of you, and thank you for your comments and your likes. Have a great day.